It is an absolute pleasure to be here. And I'm really excited to share this webinar with you on how to digitize your skills matrix and how that can transform your workforce, setting the stage for a more flexible and really scalable, which is really important, sustainable future. So very excited about this today. Uh, but firstly, we want to reintroduce ourselves. You may have known us as Gig and Take, but we've now evolved into Willia, backed by a $4 million seed investment from Iron Spring Ventures. We're really excited about this rebranding as it marks a significant step in our journey. And you can read all about it on our website, willia.com. So launch with some really fun, great news. That said, we're going to hop into flexibility in your manufacturing setting. So And what we really want to impress upon you today is our firm belief that the future of frontline work is flexible, and it's built on a foundation of a digitized skills matrix. Now, what does that mean? A skills matrix, it can be an Excel file, it can be a note in one of your supervisor's minds. It's basically a list of all the employees and then all of the skills that they have within your workforce. There's some fancy HRIS systems that can do some of this. Um, and if you in your companies only have a spreadsheet or a handwritten paper, that's okay. And if you have an HRIS system that's pretty robust, we're going to teach you today some strategies on how to really leverage that to increase engagement within your workforce. So really excited about that. And I'm going to take you through how flex work can be defined in factories and warehouses, discuss the power of an up-to-date two-way visible skills matrix, meaning with the management and with employees be able to interact, and show you some significant benefits, how these strategies can have for your operations, both now and in the future. So our goal at the end of this is to equip you with actionable strategies to improve your workforce. And by the end of the webinar, we really hope you start thinking about what can you do within your own workforce to make it a little bit more flexible. But first, why? Why should I care about this? Why should I care about flexibility? So flexibility addresses the evolving expectations of the modern workforce. We now have employees actively seeking work arrangements that fit their lifestyle and personal commitments. And by offering flexible work options, companies can attract a wider talent pool, they can reduce turnover rates, and we're seeing a greater number of qualified applicants for jobs that advertise flexible work options. As you can see on here, we're seeing 3 to 10 times the amount of job applicants just when you add in flexibility into that job description. From a business perspective, flexibility by increasing agility leads to significant operational benefits. It allows for better matching of labor supply to demand, reducing both overtime costs and the risk of burnout among employees. This adaptability is crucial for managing fluctuating market demands efficiently. But you don't have to take my word for it. There's been some really fantastic articles published recently, and I'd love to share them if you're interested. One was by Land of Lakes. Another one came out with IKEA came out with their strategies for creating flexibility within their workforce, and so they're seeing some great results. And ultimately, let's show you one more. Gartner. This one came out this morning, so I was pretty excited to add this in. They titled this article "The Future of Work," and their number one was flexible work options. And so they quoted that offering a reasonable choice as to where and when people work allows each employee to find their own work-life balance. Gartner data shows that when leaders offer this kind of flexibility, the likelihood of employees staying with an organization, experiencing less fatigue, and achieving higher performance is 1.5 to 1.7 times greater than when they don't. So, and I definitely want to be clear that we understand that manufacturing is traditionally not as flexible as most environments, but hopefully through this webinar and through thinking through some of your strategies, we can push that envelope a little bit to encourage this and to make people's lives a little bit better. And I like this quote from Andy Bilodeau. He's the Chief Transformation Officer of SHRM, and he's really reminding us that the pixelated workforce has already arrived, and that forward-thinking manufacturing, warehouse, supply chain people are really embracing flexibility as the solution. So what does flexibility mean? And it means different things to different groups of people. And I'll go through some of those groups. We'll start with the frontline. What does it mean to them? We'll talk about supervisors. What does flexibility mean to them? For the frontline workers, when do I work is really important. This includes flexible hours, compressed work weeks, and accommodating commitments to enhanced work-life balance. It's important to consider that if there's mandatory overtime or if there's room for a more accommodating schedule. Another aspect, how much do I work? Is it all or nothing? Does it mean I have to do 40 hours or I can't have a job? Or is there some sort of flexibility in between? With our platform, for example, workers can add their availability and choose slots and shifts that fit their own specific needs. Um, and that's up to the company to decide how they want to set that system up. And I would say, arguably, for frontline workers, uh, what do I work on is one of the key aspects. So enabling employees to say in what they work on, explore different skills, and aligning tasks with their interests and career paths are crucial for job satisfaction and productivity. So that's what we're talking about, the interactive two-way communication. So how do you get employees to say, hey, I'm interested in that skill, rather than, oh no, we don't have anybody for this skill. We want to be proactive in this endeavor. Now, attracting today's talent. I firmly believe flexibility is not just a preference, it's a necessity for attracting and retaining talent across various demographics. And there's new pools that we can tap into. Again, this is where the 3 to 10 times the applicants that we saw mentioned, which I mentioned earlier, are coming from. So whether it's highly skilled retirees that might want to work only a couple hours a week, primary caregivers whose schedule needs to flex, or students. And there's a couple other groups in here as well. By catering to these various needs, we can attract a broader range of applicants and significantly improve job satisfaction and retention rates. Um, the other day I was working with a metal manufacturer, and the HR casually mentioned, oh yeah, I just had 2 retirees mention to me that once we get this program up and running, they want to be part of the list because they've worked there 30 years, but they can't work a full 40 hours anymore. So you can add them into a flexible labor pool and retain some of that institutional knowledge, which I thought was really wonderful. On another spectrum, supervisors. Flexibility impacts various aspects, with one key aspect being labor force composition and how to manage it. So this involves balancing full-time, part-time, contractors, temps, and flex workers to create a dynamic and responsive workforce. So effective scheduling is crucial for maintaining this diverse labor force efficiently. In the past, managing labor was constrained to fixed schedules like 8-hour shifts or 410s, mostly due to the complexity involved with getting people in and keeping the plant going. The rigid nature of these schedules often limited the ability to respond to the changing demands. However, with new modernized technology and scalable technology, we can now build and manage these interworking systems and easily create systems that work for you. And it can be as simple as creating Outlook calendar invites to schedule shifts. And I'll speak more to that in a little bit. So the barrier to entry into flexibility has been significantly reduced by the increase in technology. And I'm excited to share what we've been seeing in the market as well. Another important area is the skills inventory. So it's just not in the back of some supervisor's mind. They have a clear understanding of who in their company, who in their workforce has which skills and who's available. So the skills-based career pathing and cross-skilling are essential for maintaining a versatile and capable team. This is how this can now be a two-way conversation with employees who validate their skills and request new ones all year round rather than just at review time. So it's really bringing everybody into the conversation to make these skills inventory consistent and up to date. And for supervisors, processes and policies play a crucial role. I might be talking a little bit more to the HR folks on the call today, but we need leadership buy-in and organizational alignment to really make a successful implementation on flexible work. So if some policies are just too inflexible, I was running manufacturing on one plant and we had a 3 strikes and you're out rule. And we had some great workers who just missed a few deadlines and hit a couple strikes. And basically we had to let them go rather than being a little bit more flexible and keeping that great worker and working with them to make it work for both of us. And lastly, tech enablement, it's absolutely vital. The technology used should be intuitive, it should be real time, and it should be scalable in order for it to be effective. So I hope the last few slides got your brains turning a little bit about what flexibility might mean in factories and in your cultures, in your company cultures. To start understanding all of these dynamics, and there's a lot of them, William made a very simple assessment tool to help organizations evaluate the maturity and identify action plans and strategies for improvement along the flexibility spectrum. So most organizations start in the lower buckets where it's unsustainable, you're using a lot of staffing agencies, you're having a lot of call outs. We really want to move you into the emerging and then into the thriving stages, so you can feel confident in your labor and also make people happier, which is the great part about this. It's a win-win for everybody. So the findings are clear. The more labor flexibility there is for frontline workers, the easier it is to attract and retain them. Flexibility isn't just a buzzword or a new way of making a creative shift schedule. It's a strategic, comprehensive introspection of your current labor practices and extends beyond conventional scheduling. So it's really a deep look into what are our policies, what are we currently doing for employees, how are they interacting with it? All of that comes into play. And then who's on board? What does the leadership team say? So how do you push these initiatives forward? That's what Willia will help you do, get you to the next level. And that brings us right into what makes us so different. So let me walk you through what makes Willia unique in the realm of frontline workers management, especially for manufacturing and supply chain operations. First, real-time scheduling. Our software is lightweight and intuitive. It provides two-way visibility for both supervisors and workers. And again, I might have briefly mentioned this earlier, but a lot of this you can do right away. You don't need a robust system like ours. You can start with Excel. You can start with WhatsApp groups based on skill. It is possible. But once you want to take that technology to scale with a couple hundred workers, that's when a platform like this would make sense. We also offer a unified skills matrix. Again, this is the backbone of what we do here. We take our skills matrix, and that's how we make your platform flexible, make your policies flexible. So imagine having a comprehensive, up-to-date digital record of every worker's skills and certifications at your fingertips. The tools allow supervisors to quickly identify skill gaps and plan coverages more effectively. Moreover, it empowers workers by offering them opportunities to cross-skill and upskill, fostering a culture of continuous learning and career growth. And then lastly, flex work enablement is just a game changer. Our platform makes managing a pool of flex workers If you choose to, you can also do this for internal workers who can be tapped as needed. Qualified employees can select shifts that align with their personal and professional needs, providing them with the flexibility they crave. Not only increases worker satisfaction, but also widens your talent pool and makes it easier to find the right fit for every single shift. With that said, in a moment, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into what our platform looks like. And I've seen a lot of solutions out there, from Excel sheets to track cross-training to paper and pencil. And sometimes see um, what needs to happen is a comprehensive solution, easy to use and keep updated, and most importantly, brings the employees in the conversation. So we want to simplify that as much as possible. And here we'll give you a sneak peek into what we've been up to and how we see flexibility. Here's the Willia system, and show you some of the strategies we implement to create flexibility in the workforce. So with a digitized skills matrix as the foundation, frontline supervisors can break down silos and view skills across the entire factory. They can easily search for gaps in their workforce and identify who is trained in specific skill sets. Workers use a gamified app to view available shifts in those areas and request new skills to advance their careers. It helps create proactive succession planning, and real-time skills data truly drives decision making. I've also seen lots of workers say, hey, I am actually certified I have a forklift certification, but that's not on the list. And that's the kind of thing that an HR rep or a supervisor might not know and might not be able to keep the spreadsheet up to date. So it's really nice. It keeps it up to date, keeps it manageable, and encourages workers to share their skills and be able to be used more in various aspects of the plant. We also have a certification and qualification portion of this, where if you have a forklift certification that expires in 3 years, we'll have it in the system. It's your go-to record. It'll notify the supervisor and employees when that's coming up. They'll no longer be able to pick up shifts if it's a requirement for that shift. So lots of great features in here. And again, our goal is always to get the right worker into the right job every time. On the supervisor side, we try to keep it as easy as possible. For oftentimes I hear a supervisor needs to sign up for a shift on Saturday. They need some overtime, but they need to start texting 10, 15, 20 employees to say, hey, are you available to come in? Our system simplifies all of that. And we found that most workers in manufacturing settings don't have email addresses, so text message is the best way to reach these workers. And our system is simple. It creates a calendar invite, just like Outlook or a Google Calendar invite. So if your supervisors can make those, they can send these messages. Basically, the available worker gets notified instantly via text message of the available shift, and they can respond in real time. So gone are the days of texting 30 employees to see who can come in on that Saturday. Send one message, it'll monitor it, it'll show you who's seen the message, who's accepted the shift, and you can even re-notify employees. Similarly, we also have a broadcast message that we've had a client just a couple weeks ago send out Happy Father's Day message to the entire factory. In one click of the button, you can send a message that goes to every worker. And that, I think, that particular message went to over 300 employees, and it took just a minute, but really encourages some engagement. On the same front, if there's a weather-related issue, say there's a power outage and you don't want employees to come in, you can send a broadcast message to groups as well. Well, really wonderful features. And we aren't forcing anyone to download the app. That's another thing. You can select yes and you'll accept the shift, or you can view a shift based just on the text message alone. From the worker's point of view, they do have access to the app, and they can see more features if they were to look in it. Requesting new skills or setting up preferred availability. They can use the app for that sort of thing. And my personal favorite is then they're able to validate skills, just like I mentioned with the forklift certification. For customer success, I do briefly want to mention two examples of our our companies that we work with who have had incredible success with this platform and creating flexibility within their workforce. The first example, and both of these references are case studies on our website. I'm happy to share them as well. Again, it's willia.com to see the full case study. But the first one is Carlisle Construction Materials. They were facing several staffing challenges in several of their manufacturing plants, and they have 2,400 employees, 41 manufacturing facilities. And with implementing the system and implementing flexibility, they were able to save over $100,000 in overtime costs just within the first 90 days. The other piece that is really wonderful to see is that 99% reliability. Workers showed up on time to the shifts that they selected. They were also reminded through our app the day before that their shift was coming up. So, and then we saw a lot of these being converted into full-time employees. So it created their own pipeline of training and bringing people into their organization, and reliable people. And lastly, the Holman was another great example. They're an automotive service company, and they were facing labor shortages due to the labor market that we're all dealing with. And working with Willia and building out flexible options, they were able to see 10 times the number of frontline workers applications within the first 2 weeks. So again, that's the 10x number that we saw. Just adding flexibility into the job description really got them a great supply of applicants. And then they were able to build out their own flexible talent pool, reducing staffing, any kind of reliance on staffing agencies or anything like that. So it was really wonderful to see that. Um, and then love to take your questions. I don't want to just talk at you this whole time. So basically, to summarize, the flexibility, the key to attracting and retaining talent, reducing costs, and increasing agility. So by focusing on skills as the foundation of your flexible work, you can make a massive impact. We're here to help you do it and do the heavy lifting for you. Thank you for attending this webinar. We'll send you a follow-up email for sure, and then I will definitely stick around for any Q&A session. And feel free to ask me any questions that you might have.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. So I have a couple questions here. First being, who or what is a flex worker? Can you clarify that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. And please, if there was any other buzzwords or anything in here that you didn't quite understand, please ask. It's a wonderful question. A flex worker, simply put, it's a part-time worker. It's as simple as that. Different companies define it slightly differently, but we encourage, yep, it's just a part-time worker. Yeah.
Great. Um, how would this work in a union environment, or would it?
Absolutely. Such a good question. And some of those union contracts are quite complicated. We do all the heavy lifting for you on the back end. We can set up who gets the messages by uh, either what you say, who sees it the fastest, or you could do it by tenure or a number of other ways. So we can set up the system on the back end to protect you for your specific needs and for that specific contract. So we're in plenty of union environments, um, and it works just great. In fact, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you need to use Flexwork if you want to use the platform?
Do you? No, no, that's one of the best things. It, we encourage it. We think it's a great tool to use, but if it doesn't make sense for your organization, absolutely you can use your internal workforce. We have a lot of success with putting in all the employees in the factory, full-time employees, and then leveraging it for voluntary overtime. As opposed to mandating it or going up to individuals. This is a way to say, hey, we need to do some overtime. We have availability on Saturday. Who wants to volunteer to do it? Um, and I love seeing that. It makes workers a lot happier than being forced to do overtime.
Okay, great. I think that's all I've got for now. So let's wrap up. We'll wrap up a little early today, but as mentioned, we will deliver this recording to you after the session today, and of course, reach out to you, and don't hesitate to reach out to us. What you're seeing is or what you were seeing, sorry, is
Yeah,
Matt's LinkedIn. And also our website is, as Matt mentioned, willia.com. And we'd love to hear from you. So please do. And we hope you have a great day. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Matt, for the great presentation.
thank you, Alia. Take care.